Tonight, outraged over costly travel nurse contracts, local nurses are demanding an investigation. That story and
hope is fading for a well-known retired educator from Bay Roberts. Mike O'Driscoll, the man known to his students as Mr. OD, has not been seen since Friday.
The expectation of him still alive, being out there for 4 days, is slim, but we still need his body to say goodbye.
I'm Terry Roberts. I'll have that story coming up.
It's the second day of a summit here in Labrador West, and today we heard from the CEOs of the two biggest mining companies in the two towns. I'm Jeremy Eaton, and I'll have all the details live from Labrador City coming up.
I shook my dad's hand on the bench. That was weird. That was a weird feeling.
What's it like to play hockey against your dad? Well, we'll tell you that story on the Newfoundland and Labrador Winter Games latest coverage coming up on Here and Now.
This is CBC Here and Now.
Good evening and welcome to Here and Now. We'll get to those stories shortly, but first, a person has died as a result of a house fire in St. John's early this morning. The fire was in an attached home on Watson Street. It happened shortly after 2 a.m. There's considerable fire and smoke damage to the home. There's also light smoke damage to the neighboring homes, but firewalls prevented flames from spreading. The St. John's Regional Fire Department says the person who died was in the home alone. Earlier this month, a woman died as a result of a house fire in that same East End neighborhood. Well, more reaction to the controversial contract for travel nurses. Today, nurses gathered on the steps of Confederation Building to demand an investigation from the Auditor General. Instead, the health minister is asking another kind of overseer to look at how millions of dollars were spent. Here Now's Mark Quinn reports.
I'm a proud RN. I love taking care of my community. I love being a registered nurse, but I also want to be paid what I'm worth.
Publicly funded nurses in this province are angry that they've been forced to work alongside private agency nurses, travel nurses who are paid twice as much as them, sometimes more.
Government could have and should have and needs to invest in the people in this province, not a private agency company.
They're also outraged by details in a recent Globe and Mail report. It says the province paid nurse agencies for items like pet transportation and air fryers. The health minister says it's all being reviewed.
I wrote the Comptroller General asking for a review of the contracts signed with agency nursing to ensure that there's controls and protocols and measures in place to ensure that funding is spent appropriately.
Not enough, says the nurses union. They want the travel nurse contracts ended and a deep investigation of agency nursing by the province's independent Auditor General.
We are asking for the Auditor General. We will continue to ask for the Auditor General.
The PC opposition says Osborne's call to the Comptroller General is a stunt to distract from what it says is the government's nursing fiasco. The NDP agrees, saying Osborne made the wrong call.
The one thing I guess I would look at within the Auditor General is, of course, the independence and the fact that it reports to the House of Assembly, that it reports to the people of the province, whereas the Comptroller General, part of the bureaucracy of the system. I'm thinking if I were the minister, I would be fully endorsing the AG and to have that transparency and that openness.
The Progressive Conservatives have called for investigations by both the Auditor General and the RCMP. The Auditor General's office says travel nursing is certainly a topic that is being actively considered for audit. Mark Quinn, CBC News, St. John's.
Well, the province is ramping up the number of sites that give out free naloxone kits. It's part of the provincial take-home naloxone program, which aims to increase public access. There are now 130 sites province-wide that hand out free kits, including town halls and food banks. In addition, anyone interested can opt to have a free naloxone kit mailed to them. According to the province, the naloxone program has distributed over 17,000 kits since it started in 2016. The province says it's also considering opening overdose prevention sites where people can use drugs in a supervised setting. Well, in other news, Fisheries and Oceans Canada released its annual assessment of snow crab stocks today. And while projections for most of the province are positive for 2024, one area is still in the cautious zone. The CBC's Todd O'Brien explains.
Today's snow crab stock assessment might best be described as steady as she goes. The amount of snow crab out there that can be fished is about the same as last year, and that was a pretty good year. There was over 54,000 metric tons available to be caught, worth about $257 million here at the wharf. So there's a lot of crab out there. Most of it is in the healthy zone, except for Labrador. Off Labrador, it continues to be in the cautious zone. And there's less exploitable, what they call exploitable biomass there to fish.
A trend that we've seen in the past is that particularly in 2HJ, so off Labrador, we're seeing snow crab having their terminal molt, which is their final molt, so they will not grow anymore. That's the size they'll be at quite a low size. And in some cases, you know, a lot of crab aren't going to grow to be commercial size.
One word of caution that came from this particular assessment is, and it came from last year as well, is that in the last 5 years, the oceans have been warming, seeing a warming trend. Now, that's bad for snow crab because the young snow crab, when it's very cold, they grow up 7 or 8 years later to be fished. And but they like it to start off as cold.
We were talking a little bit at the stock assessment about, you know, the exploitable biomass that we currently have is likely from this cooling period in 2012, 2017. It's been warming since then, which is not going to be an ideal environment for these cold water snow crab. And we have started to see some decreased catch rates of some of our smaller size crab. We're not seeming to pick them up in the same quantities as we have in our surveys in the past. So that's really something that we need to keep looking at year after year, because that's your recruitment into the exploitable biomass and your fishery.
So in the short term, there may be some limited stock growth, and the jury is out to see what that really means in the years to come. Todd O'Brien, CBC News, St. John's.
Well, a beautiful day today with some sunshine for a good chunk of the island today, even up across Labrador as well, as we take a look at what's currently on the go. We do have some cooler temperatures out there, especially up across Labrador. Some of those cool temperatures dipping into across Newfoundland as well, but we, saw daytime highs above zero for the afternoon. Now, if we take a look at what's going on, we do have another warm-up coming, or a significant warm-up coming rather, by the time we get into the Wednesday, Thursday timeframe. But right in behind that, we've definitely got that cold air. A sharp drop in temperatures expected Thursday night into Friday up across the Big Land. We'll start to see some of those temperatures drop into Friday across the island as well. But by the time we get into the weekend, another warm-up will be on tap for the island. The other thing, an area of low pressure is going to bring some significant winds, especially to the Wreck House area, gusting anywhere from 100 to 140 kilometers per hour in the Wednesday, Thursday timeframe. I'll break the whole forecast down for you coming up.
Thanks, Ashley. Well, a mother and son are opening up tonight about what's been a horrible few days in Bay Roberts. Searchers have been scouring the land and coastline trying to find well-known educator Mike O'Driscoll. But as Terry Roberts reports, hope is fading fast.
These two have been keeping vigil, hoping against hope that her husband, his father, will come home. But with each passing hour, they know the chances of that happening grow slimmer.
But I just need him found. I can't sleep, I can't eat.
It's like he's just dropped off the face of the earth.
Mike O'Driscoll hasn't been seen since Friday. A witness observed O'Driscoll riding his bicycle along Water Street, headed towards Mad Rock, a popular hiking destination, a rugged and scenic coastal area in the community. A search was launched on Friday, on land, from the air, and on the water. First, O'Driscoll's bicycle was found. Then, on Monday, his backpack was located near a trail. But the man known to his students as Mr. O.D. has not been found. 4 days and nights, without a trace, and his loved ones are beginning to accept reality.
I hope they find them soon. I just need them found. You know, the expectation of them still alive, being down there for 4 days is slim, but we still need his body to say goodbye, to bury him and just move.
There's no final goodbye. It's just cut short.
Mike O'Driscoll retired last spring following a 30-year career as an educator. But his family tells me it was locations like this where he felt most at home, in nature.
He abhors technology. He refuses to carry a phone with him.
He doesn't even have an email or a computer or anything. He's just a natural person, outdoors, and just loves to be outdoors. So hiking is one of his favorite things to do.
But something went wrong, and this mother and son are trying to make sense of it.
I think he maybe slipped or something and fell in the ocean because, you know, who knows?
They're encouraged by the frantic search effort and the outpouring of public support. But now this son also has regrets.
Maybe we didn't get enough time together, to do that, to really bond. And I think that now that he might be gone, there's a lot that could have been said or could have been done that doesn't have that chance anymore.
Mike O'Driscoll was a man of many talents, a popular guidance counselor, a skilled woodworker and artist, an avid cyclist, a sandwich maker as a post-retirement gig. But his family says he was also resistant to change and stubborn. His son has many of those same traits, and as his father would have wanted, Jack O'Driscoll still went to school today, preparing for an upcoming public speaking event. Terry Roberts, CBC News, Bay Roberts.
We're going to take you to Labrador now. Main players in the mining and energy sectors are sharing their hopes for the future of Labrador West. Today is the second full day of a summit in Wabush. Two massive mines in the area are at different stages of development, but both will need more power moving forward. That's according to their CEOs. Here Now's Jeremy Eaton has been taking in this summit and joins us now live from Labrador City. So Jeremy, what more can you tell us about what's happening there today?
Well, it was a rare day that you get the CEOs of all these companies, including another smaller one, Labrador Iron. But you had the CEO of Iron Ore Company of Canada. I'm just outside the Labrador City worksite here. You had the CEO of Tacora talking about some of the issues that they've had. And then you had the CEO of Newfoundland and Labrador Hydro, all speaking very candidly to a room full of very important people and stakeholders. Now, one of the next steps that people need to take here is to try to do what they say is make a more greener iron ore product. It's the only place in the province that you'll see this site in Labrador West, a seemingly never-ending train overflowing with iron ore. The new focus is getting it out of the ground using less emissions. This week, the Iron Ore Company of Canada got help from Ottawa.
We were given $18 million, part of a $50 million project we have for decarbonizing our operations. We're actually putting in a 40 megawatt electric boiler that's going to replace one of our boilers that work on Bunker C. And that's going to represent about a 9% reduction in our carbon emissions. But as we speak today, IOC contributes approximately $715 million in regards to GDP, $303 million in provincial taxes, and $95 million in corporate taxes.
IOC CEO Mike McCann laid out his vision for the future net zero emissions by 2050.
With future technologies such as hydrogen conversion, net zero steel is within reach with the iron ore products produced from Labrador.
With good news coming out of IOC as quickly as high-grade iron ore, the CEO of Tacora addressed the issues it's currently facing. The mine in Wabush, currently in credit protection. A bid was made, but then challenged by another investor.
It's not for me to judge a contested bid. What I can say is that the company is going to work very, very hard to efficiently and effectively close this process so that we can move forward.
Both mines have high hopes for the future, which will see more trains like this one. Plus, a growing need for more power which comes from Newfoundland and Labrador Hydro.
The kinds of things that the companies are talking about from an economic development perspective are big increases to power. And so we've been working with the companies for several years now to take many ideas and shrink them down into an idea that is palatable. And so we're continuing the process with them to pursue what is possible and what could happen next.
So sorry, in the intro to that, I think I referred to the company as Labrador Iron. It's actually Champion Iron, so I just wanted to correct myself on that one. Now, as we've seen in the past, building a transmission line is quite an expensive endeavor. So Williams says, you know, they have been working for a couple of years. They're going to have to work for a couple more years, probably talk to the stakeholders, obviously the two mining companies here, and figure out an engineering plan and how they're going to pull this off. But it is doable. It'll probably be expensive, but it is doable, something that could happen in the next couple of years, so we'll keep you posted on that. Now, that was just from the morning sessions, all that stuff, that information we gathered here today. There's so much more going on at that conference, and it continues again tomorrow. So the hope is that we're going to chat to some local politicians, the mayor of Wabush, the mayor of Labrador City, and the local MHA, Jordan Brown. So stay tuned for that story coming out of here tomorrow night. Reporting live from Labrador City, I'm Jeremy Eaton for Here and Now.
Staying in Wabush and the future of the Scully mine, the head of Tacora feels optimistic it will be saved. The iron ore mine has been on shaky financial ground, and now a large U.S. agriculture company is opposing a much-needed investment offer, saying Tacora needs to slow down. Our Elizabeth Whitten joins us now to dig a bit deeper into this deal. So, Elizabeth, can you lay out the situation the company is facing?
This fall, the company received creditor protection. This was meant to buy the company more time to figure out its finances. Tacora said it had a cash flow problem and that maintenance, recent forest fires in Quebec, and a volatile market for iron ore all played a part. After receiving creditor protection, Tacora needed to either look for a new buyer or investors. Earlier this month, it got an offer from 3 partners looking to invest $300 million American dollars into the mine over 4 years. But it's a deal that still needs to be approved by the courts.
Okay, and there's an American company that's raising a red flag about this. What can you tell us about that?
Yes, that's Cargill, a giant U.S. agricultural company, and one of Tacora's co-owners. Cargill buys all the iron ore from Scully Mine. According to court documents, Cargill says the deal between Tacora and the investors is going too fast, and Cargill wants to defend its interests. It submitted its own bid, but Tacora rejected it. In court documents, the company said, Cargill now attempts to establish a long, drawn-out litigation schedule in what appears to be an attempt to disrupt or thwart the closing of the investors' bid to the detriment of Tacora and its stakeholders. Despite all this uncertainty, the head of Tacora is still championing the future of the mine. Here he is speaking today at the Future of Lab West Summit.
Tacora is a fantastic business. We have a fantastic ore body, we have a fantastic team, and we have lots of potential to grow the business in the future. So that's the message. I mean, we want to make sure that it's positive, make sure that we're telling the facts, but we're focused on, exactly as I said, focused on getting to 6 million tons per year, and also focused on growing the business in the future.
So, Elizabeth, is there any concern about how long this process could take?
Yes. In those court documents, Tacora argues that time is of the essence. It says iron ore prices are volatile, Tacora needs capital, and some small businesses are still owed money for their work. Tacora says employees have left because of the uncertainty around the company's future. Though today, Joe Broking said he hopes to see a resolution by the spring.
The company is going to work very, very hard to efficiently and effectively close this process so that we can move forward. We expect that Justice Kimmel will do her part and come to the conclusion that we expect her to come to so that we can move the business forward. okay? Ultimately, as it stands today, we would expect to close on the winning bidder's bid in the May timeframe. The sooner the better.
But of course, before any of that can happen, Cargill will get its opportunity to contest the deal at a hearing in early April. Carolyn?
Thanks so much, Elizabeth. We'll just have to wait and see what happens next. That's Elizabeth Witten reporting from the newsroom. And travelers in the province will soon have 2 more direct flight destinations to choose from. Porter Airlines announced the addition of a new direct flight, 2 of them earlier today. The airline added a daily round trip between St. John's and Ottawa, which will start on June 6th. Now, according to Porter, this will be the first time in 5 years that a Canadian carrier is serving this route. And starting on June 4th, Porter will offer a direct flight from Deer Lake to Halifax. Air Canada also offers that route. To Gander now for day 3 of the Newfoundland and Labrador Winter Games. Competitors faced off in curling and hockey, and for one game, a family was divided, not in the stands, but on the ice. Here now's Troy Turner introduces us to the father-son duo going toe-to-toe.
Hockey is a sport that I find, it brings people together. It's something you can do for a long time and have fun doing, and it's to me, it's a passion.
A passion that was passed on. Father and son, fierce competitors on the ice. And at the Newfoundland and Labrador Winter Games, they're opponents for the very first time. While Steve Power plays and coaches hockey in Churchill Falls, son Jackson made the move to Pasadena to play on a more competitive level. In Gander this week, one coaches Team Labrador, the other laces up the skates for Western.
We played against them earlier, and it was a close game. 6-3, I think, was maybe the final. They beat us, so he gets the bragging rights next time at the supper table.
That was the weirder feeling about it. Is that, and when I shook everyone's hand, I knew everyone. I shook my dad's hand on the bench. That was weird. That was a weird feeling. I wasn't going to rub it in his face. I kind of felt bad for him. He kind of beat him a little bit. I wouldn't say bad, but yeah, I was nice about it.
So who does the rest of the family cheer for? It's a tough choice, says Steve.
That must be her. I mean, it's only my mother here, his grandmother, so, but I think she's cheering for Western, to be quite honest. She don't live in Labrador anymore, so yeah, it made it hard, definitely in that last game anyways.
I'm not gonna stay here forever. I mean, my mom will go insane without seeing me for that long, but yeah, I'm just planning forward to stay next year and play as hard as I can, get better.
Even though they're on opposing teams, the shared experience of competing at the games is what's special for the Power family.
We'll always have that. We'll be able to talk about that forever, really. So, and that's really cool, right? So.
The next big competition for the Powers will be at the Easter Provincial Hockey Tournaments, where both father and son will coach and play once again, but this time they'll be playing in different tournaments. Troy Turner, CBC News, Gander.
All the temperatures over the next couple of days, especially in Lab West, going to top out on Thursday at 5 degrees and then drop like a rock as we get into Thursday night, down to minus 28. We'll talk all about it when I come back.
This weather update is brought to you by the Healthcare Foundation Home Lottery. The bonus prize deadline is midnight, Friday, April 12th. Order tickets now at hcfhomelottery.ca.
Well, Ashley, I enjoyed your roller coaster graphic that you showed us just before the break. It really drives home the difference in temperature that's on the way for Lab West.
Yeah, it certainly is. And, you know, temperatures are going to warm up because even last night it was cold in Lab West. Minus 26 was the temperature. Minus 8, though, for Happy Valley Goose Bay. So we do have some of that milder air in play, but really even more so as we head through the next couple of days. We've got our temperatures this morning sitting somewhere between the minus single digits really across the island, little cooler in the low-lying areas. Badger bottomed out at about minus 11 last night. But if you take a look at the recovery this afternoon, into the minus single digits up across Labrador, but we do have those single digits on the plus side of the mercury for a good portion of the island this afternoon. 2 degrees in St. John's with some sunshine, felt pretty nice this afternoon. 4 degrees in Badger and +1 in Corner Brook. So we don't have a whole lot What just happened? We don't have a whole lot going on this afternoon as far as the area of low pressure, or as the weather is concerned, because we're sitting under an area of high pressure at the moment. So lots of sunshine. We do have some cloud cover working its way across Labrador, and we are going to see some flurry activity, which you can't see here, but that cloud cover is going to bring some flurry activity as we head through the night tonight. So temperatures at the moment are still sitting into the minus single digits across Labrador and starting to drop now across the island. We'll lose a couple degrees as we head through the night tonight, but here's that snow that I was talking about that will start to work its way in overnight tonight, really in a line from Lab West through central Labrador and then eventually to coastal areas as we get into the early morning hours. But it could drop, anywhere from about 5 to 10 centimeters of snow tonight. Other than that, we're looking at the chance of showers as we get into the morning hours for the southern areas of the island, and temperatures are actually going to warm up through the night. So you'll be sitting, by the time we get into tomorrow morning, in Port-aux-Basques somewhere around 1 or 2 degrees. Otherwise, we'll bottom out into the minus single digits across the island, and eventually we'll see that warm up tomorrow. Labrador, much warmer tonight. Minus 8 will be your overnight low in Lab City, and then temperatures towards the coast will be a tad warmer than that. So like I said, we're looking at a swath of somewhere between 5 to 10 centimeters. That's a good bet. We may see a bit higher than that in some areas, but it's a relatively skinny line, so just really depends on where that tracks. But it, like I said, could drop somewhere between 5 to 10 centimeters, and that will fall fairly quickly through tomorrow morning, because once that area of low pressure tracks a little bit further north, it's going to bring that mild air in with it. So it'll either change over to cloudy skies or the potential for some showers up across the Big Land, and we'll see a better chance of showers across the island tomorrow as well. There will be some sunny breaks at times in the mix across the island. Generally, though, we'll see some of those heavier showers move in late day on Wednesday and into early Thursday as we really see that big push of mild air move in. Now, watch what happens in Lab City. This is that roller coaster ride and significant drop in temperatures that I was talking about. So we'll see that by the time we get into Thursday morning. It's going to start mild 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning and then drop dramatically through the day, and that is going to change that potential for showers over to snow in Lab City, and then eventually that front will move its way further east through the day on Thursday, eventually making it to the island by the time we get into Thursday evening. So your temperatures tomorrow, take a look at this. Very spring-like, 4 to about 11 degrees. Really, areas in onshore flow will see those cooler temperatures. But away from that, you may even reach into the double digits tomorrow afternoon. Winds out of the southwest, anywhere from 40 to 60 kilometers per hour. This will be the start of a windy couple of days for the island. Up across Labrador, you're looking at your temperatures, like I said, topping out 6 to 9 degrees through the day. Unfortunately, northern Labrador, you're going to sit this one out. Unfortunately or fortunately, depending on how you look at it, but you'll be sitting around minus 8. So we'll talk about the long-range forecast, which does have another warm-up in it when I come back.
All right, thanks, Ashley. Well, a low tide has further exposed a shipwreck on Cape Ray Beach, a wreck the community hopes to salvage and one day put on display. But as Here and Now's Colleen Connors reports, the province's Preservation Society is warning the task will be very tough and very costly.
Most of this 200-year-old ship is out of the water this week, though the hull is still nestled into the sand in Cape Ray. At high tide, the ship is still surrounded by water. Bits and pieces are breaking off, but the community is trying to tie it on and eventually haul it out.
This is a huge ship.
A big ship and a big job. Burgess, who is the president of the Shipwreck Preservation Society, warns that putting this vessel on display won't be easy or cheap.
Preserving a wooden hull of this size to a museum standard would be hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars. It's really expensive preserving wood that's been in the sea for centuries.
He says it has happened in other places where whole buildings had to be built to house the shipwrecks. Community members and divers tried cutting holes in the hull to wrap slings around the timbers, but there are too many layers of wood. The ship is just too big, and they are running out of time.
As the waves hit the wreck, it's kind of working, so it's bending. And the pieces are getting looser and looser in where they're fastened together. So if a big storm comes now with big waves, it's really going to tear that wreck apart, I think.
The local service district is determined to hang on to this vessel and display it as a tourist attraction. The shipwreck that washed up in January received worldwide attention. And once it's out of the water, where it's been for hundreds of years, the clock really starts ticking.
As that hull dries out, the wood is going to split and crack and twist, and the pieces are going to tend to come apart. So without a lot of specialized conservation treatment, the appearance of that hull will change drastically over time, and it may start to disintegrate fairly quickly.
The community's fundraiser page is now up to around $10,000, money that will go towards hiring a contractor that will bring in several pieces of heavy equipment to lug this ship out of the salty ocean. Meanwhile, members of the community are monitoring this ship daily, awaiting their next move. Colleen Connors, CBC News, Corner Brook.
Well, coming up, we tag along for a military training trip in Labrador where soldiers spend 2 days preparing for the worst case scenario.
VOWR has been broadcasting since 1924 and still going strong. Watch 100 Years of Radio, Sunday at 11:30 and Monday at 7.
Well, more than 100 reserve members with the Canadian Armed Forces were recently in Labrador for training sessions with the Canadian military. Here Now's Heidi Adder got a glimpse into their mock military raid.
What looks and sounds like real gunfire are blanks. Shot by reserve troops during a quick mock raid at the 5-Wing Goose Bay military base. Within a minute, soldiers surround the building and take stock of damages.
1, 2, 3. Ah!
2 were injured in this training simulation, all to prepare them for potential warfare. A shift, Colonel Ray DeFore says, from a prior focus of emergencies at home.
I think it's to no surprise to anybody across the country that the global situation across the world is deteriorating, and for us it is one of these things we're training in case if there's a requirement for the Canadian Armed Forces to deploy into that type of environment, that we're able to survive, communicate, sustain, and do what we have to do.
And they're training for that deployment in Labrador. They're here as part of exercise Maroon Sojourn, bringing together reserve members from all across Atlantic Canada and the United States. DeFore says Labrador is a challenging environment, and they are able to learn from both local rangers and Indigenous peoples.
They have a wealth of experience, and we ought to listen to what they're recommending because it's really survival skills that we need to own, and they're good at it.
The result of the simulation, 3 eliminated enemies, 2 injured soldiers, but no losses to the Canadians. The last mock raid wrapped up 2 weeks of training, sending members home better prepared for combat. Heidi Adder, CBC News, Happy Valley, Goose Bay.
Returning now to our ongoing coverage of the Newfoundland and Labrador Winter Games, 2 table tennis playing sisters are competing at the Games. They grew up playing table tennis in the Philippines and thought they had left the game behind when they came to Canada. But have a look.
This experience is really nice because I've been to Canada Games before and it's the same thing. It's intense, nervous, and it's nice to meet new people too. You don't know their games and stuff, so it's nice to play with new people. Hi, my name is Divine. I'm 18. I'm in grade 12.
Hi, my name is Courtney. I'm 15 in grade 9.
I started playing table tennis in grade 4. Continued till grade 6, but then we moved here in Canada and I stopped till grade 10.
Did you think that when you moved here from the Philippines that you were going to be leaving your table tennis career behind you?
Yeah, that's what I thought. I was really sad. So I was in grade 10, right? And I was playing in the Munfield house. So Jeremy, my coach right now, saw me playing and he thinks that I'm good, I have potential. So he introduced me to the club.
And what does it mean to you to be able to play with your sister?
Yeah, it's been fun. I like training with her, and she teaches me all she knows.
I let my sister play because she had the potential to do it as well. And table tennis is a good sport. You meet new people, you learn new stuff, and it's just a very nice experience and everything overall.
And congratulations are in order. 18-year-old Divine competed in table tennis at the Winter Games today, and she made it all the way to the finals where she won 3 sets and the match, taking home the gold medal. Way to go. Well, coming up, we are invited to a Nigerian wedding right here in St. John's. You'll hear from the happy couple about what it means to bring their traditions to this province.
CBC is highlighting Black changemakers from Atlantic Canada who are making a difference, inspiring others and shaping the future. This year, we are asking you to help us identify Black changemakers who are bringing positive change to your community. So, nominate someone today.
I'm from Sydney, Nova Scotia, and I'm a Black change maker.
I'm a Black change maker.
And I'm a Black change maker.
Well, now we'll take you to a crowded and colorful dance floor, a wedding celebrating love and the story of the Nigerian community in St. John's. It's a story captured in an Atlantic Voice radio documentary called To Grow in Love. Now, you can listen to that entire episode on our website, cbc.ca/NL. But in this little teaser, we meet the bride and groom.
Back in Nigeria, wedding is a very big event that brings everybody together, your extended family, your friends. I'll say your enemies as well, because everybody comes together to celebrate you.
Hi, my name is Toluwani from Lucy. I'm the one getting married to this amazing man.
Oh my gosh!
My name is Ekene Delichukwu Okoye. I'm looking forward to saying I do.
Wow!
And she responding back with I do as well.
What does it mean to be able to bring some of that tradition to St. John's?
I'll say it's a good milestone, seeing how far the Nigerian community have grown in St. John's. Now, Nigerians can continue their traditions, they can continue their culture. Hallelujah! Amen.
Well, that looks like a blast. Now to a different kind of music. A Newfoundland songwriter had a hand in an album that Rolling Stone magazine is calling the best country music album of 2023. It's an album by Megan Moroney.
I met somebody, and he's got blue eyes. He opens the door and he don't make me cry. He ain't from where we're from, but he feels like home.
Well, this rising star from Georgia nabbed the #1 spot on the prestigious list for her album called Lucky. Now, Peter Daniel Newman, a songwriter in this province, co-wrote on that album on a song called Georgia Girl. Newman spent years writing in Nashville but moved back home when he became a father. He spoke with Chrissy Holmes of the St. John's Morning Show earlier today.
And the Megan Moroney thing kind of happened. I have management now in Nashville, so I wrote with her a year ago in August. She didn't have her deal at that time. And she was about to release Tennessee Orange, which went #1, and that's what she's kind of famous for at the moment. So a little bit of luck and a lot of hard work.
Tell us a little bit more about Megan. What was she like to work with? Just tell us a little bit more. I know she's a big star.
Oh, well, she's, sometimes you bump into these people and they just have something a little extra, special. The girl's vocals are just, she sounds like that, at 8 o'clock in the morning. She's sweet, she's cute, she's, all business, and she's a very talented writer. So that's why there's a lot of comparisons with her to Taylor Swift, actually. This is the professional music industry. So we were literally paired up with another writer, and you just show up with a coffee and you go to work. So it's, after a 3-hour session, we wrote Georgia Girl.
3 hours?
3 hours, yeah.
Wow.
That's kind of how.
How did that start? Like, who initiated?
She initiated, actually. She's from Georgia, so she wanted a song about Georgia, and we just kind of went from there, started spitballing. Like I said, give her a lot of credit. She's a great writer. She took direction of it, but we also dropped some Georgia references, Gone with the Wind, and there's a few tidbits in there, Easter eggs in there. But yeah, we just, it's kind of what we do. I write about 150, 200 songs a year, and you hope 1 or 2 of them sticks.
Well, I think it's got sticking power. Obviously, Rolling Stone thinks so.
Yeah, well.
How did you react when you learned that the album was named Best Country Album 2023 by Rolling Stone?
Well, that was kind of crazy. You know what I mean? That was like mid-January that they released those statistics. But yeah, I mean, I grew up reading Rolling Stone. I'm a musician. I talk to my friends. That's our Bible. I mean, I have copies when I was a teenager. Still have copies. And to see that your work was mentioned in Rolling Stone is crazy. And then to see that it was the #1 record of 2023 country record is mind blowing.
I met somebody, and he's got blue eyes. He opens the door and he don't make me cry. From where we're from.
Students across the province took to the drawing boards to submit designs for Heritage NL's poster contest. The contest was held as part of the celebrations for Heritage Week. And as Here and Now's Aoife Alaba reports, she spoke to the primary level winner.
So you were the primary winner for the Heritage NL poster competition.
Mm-hmm.
How did that make you feel?
It made me feel really excited. It was lots of emotions. I had to look in a Chromebook to see the winter house picture, and I had to copy it off that. I liked the details of it, and it just really standed out for me. I liked the color and the house frame. The green on the house The color was very hard to find. I have liked art for like a long time now, and I just really enjoy it.
And how many times a week would you say you practice art?
1,000,000 times.
Lovely drawings, congratulations.
Very exciting.
Yes, all right, so let's have a look at the long-range forecast. So I've been getting a bit sick of winter lately. I don't know how you're feeling, but this warm-up, I know folks who really like being out in the snow and stuff don't like it, but I'm kind of grateful to have a little bit of a warm-up.
A warm-up, yeah. We're definitely on the other side of winter, which it feels like for sure, especially with the later and later sunsets. But yeah, very spring-like over the next couple of days. Let's take a look at what's going to happen for your Wednesday evening into Thursday. So this area of low pressure tracking pretty much over Quebec, and that is making us all of the province in the warm air. So we will see that through the day on Wednesday into Thursday. Some of the milder air, the mildest air, I should say, will move in. So also bring some heavier showers with it as well. But we've got this sharp cold front, very visible on the screen here for you. That is going to bring that drop in temperatures that I was talking about earlier. So, you know, down to the nearly minus 30 from daytime highs into the single digits for Lab West. And we are going to see that drop in temperatures across the island as well. It won't be as dramatic as that, but we will certainly see that. Our daytime highs will sit somewhere between 4 to 9 degrees through the day on Thursday, and we will see that again up across Labrador as well. Nain, finally, you'll get into some of that milder air. And then, like I said, once that front passes, we will see those temperatures drop. It won't happen until pretty much Friday morning for the Avalon, but that will be the case. So there it goes, continues to move through. Then we are talking about the potential for some onshore flurries and maybe even some squalls in the first half of the day on Friday, which I know will be good news for those of you in the west. Just to see how much snow falls, though, at this point. We're going to definitely have to keep an eye on it, but it does look like we'll see some squalls, at least through the first half of the day. Also, very windy conditions with this as well. As I mentioned, we'll start to see those windy conditions tomorrow, and it'll pretty much continue through Saturday morning. The potential for some snow up across Labrador as well through the day on Friday, especially for central and coastal areas. So back down to below zero, below where we should be sitting this time of year. In fact, St. John's, we should be hovering around +1 this time of year. You'll hover around -10 in Corner Brook, and then we've got back down to the -teens for the Big Land. Long range forecast showing that another warm up by the time we get into Sunday. So we'll probably see a few showers in the mix there as well. And then for central Newfoundland, you're looking at that drop back down below, or at zero, I should say, by Saturday, Sunday, warming back up again into the afternoon hours. And then same thing for western Newfoundland. So definitely a roller coaster ride of temperatures expected. And then for eastern Labrador, pretty much the same thing. -teens by Friday, back up into the minus single digits for Saturday and Sunday. And then for western Labrador, you're looking at that as well. Some sunny conditions to bookend your Saturday, but you are still looking at some flurries. Now, it was a beautiful sunrise this morning. I saw multiple pictures. This one is of Fort Amherst, and Bill, lighthouse keeper there, was shared this photo with me. He said it was a large morning.
Oh, nice.
It definitely was. Thank you so much for that. If you have any weather photos that you would like to share with us, you can send them to nlphotos@cbc.ca.
What a great shot. I love the crispness of the white and the red and the flag.
Beautiful, beautiful sunrise.
Yeah, I remember being younger, being up at Fort Amherst and getting a little bit too close to the speaker or the foghorn. Yeah, it's pretty loud. Probably can't get that close. I haven't been up there in a long time. Yeah. All right, well, that's it for us on this Tuesday. Thank you so much for spending part of your evening with us.
Good night.